So in this video, I'm going to be talking about dopamine procrastination and how to basically solve this. So let's get straight into it. Why procrastination is a myth. So it's all to do with your dopamine. Let me explain real quick. Dopamine is basically the chemical reward you get from performing a certain task, right? You do a task, you get a reward. It's very, very simple. It's our human nature, right? So the problem is different tasks have different amount of level of rewards. Why you procrastinate? You start your day with a high amount of reward and releasing activities like scrolling on your phone, food, coffee, TV, music, or gym. The amount of high dopamine releasing tasks and activities in your day is way higher than it should be, right? For example, you're watching too many movies, you're scrolling too long on your phone, you're consuming too much food, right? You're just consuming too much. And that's why you procrastinate, because the reward is way too high for what you want to do. If you, let's say, want to build a business, then obviously that isn't going to release the same amount of dopamine, the reward, as it is like a quick scroll on your phone, right? And we always scroll when we're bored. So why you perform bad habits? You have not yet slowly replaced them by finding an activity which releases a similar amount of dopamine reward that is actually good for you. Example, you watch movies, the replacement is, as an example, ice baths, right? Or cold showers. It's a very high releasing activity. Dopamine is amazing. The only key here is to manage where you get it from and what level you are currently at in which you need the amount. So other people need different amounts of dopamine releases, right? That's why it's so bullshit to always listen to all these gurus online that say, do this little productivity trick and you'll 10x your productivity and whatever. It's definitely cool, those tricks, but this is the foundation. If you have not solved this foundation yet, all those tricks are completely useless, because you will apply those tricks and then after a week you will stop applying them and you will ask yourself, why am I not productive? Well, this is why. You've not yet replaced the activities with the right ones, or your level in which you have the dopamine is way too high, right? So again, if you need a lot of dopamine in a day to feel good / motivated in a day, then you probably have some bad high releasing activities in there which you need to replace, right? So step 1 to fix this: audit your week and A to Z day to day. So I want you to audit your Monday to Sunday from this video onwards, and I want you to check out your day to day. You can also do this just from one day basically, because you probably have a similar routine every single day. So list out all the activities you do, your screen time, if you scroll or not, if you have sex and when, if you have coffee and how many times, at what time, all the activities you do basically. Step 2 is choose which bad, right? Choose which high releasing activity you want to replace. An example, you consume movies. That's one of the higher releasing activities, right? For example, you consume it in the evening. A solution: do cold showers, increase workouts, do sprinting outside. Obviously, you might think right now, oh, this is not that simple. I'll explain in a few seconds. So step 3, after you have audited your A to Z day, you know which ones you want to replace, start optimizing your day. You want to limit the activities that are high releasing at the start of your day and the evening before. I really want to emphasize this real quick. So again, you want to limit the activities that are high releasing dopamine, right, at the start of your day and at the evening before. An example, if you play a game, right, if you game or you have sex or watch a movie in the evening before, it will cause a swing effect, right, for the morning after, because again, it has a high release, and then the morning after you will have the dip. It always needs that correction cycle, right? So step 4 is understand the principles of dopamine. Dopamine is not bad. You get dopamine from nearly everything. It's a reward system. The more dopamine you release, the more dopamine release you will have, the more you will need. This is also super, super important, right? The more dopamine release you have, the more you will need. If I, for example, drink a coffee right now, then the next activity my brain needs for the same level of reward needs to be way higher. That's how it works, right? If people start smoking weed, then obviously eventually they will probably need something bigger or something better or something that has a bigger reward, right? This is why I do not start my day with high releasing activities like workouts, like for example, I don't eat, right? I have like intermittent fasting that I do. I obviously drink a bit of coffee, which releases dopamine too. That's why you perform your worst habits at the end of the day. Again, the way you start the beginning of your day, if you start this with high releasing activities, the chances of you, for example, turning really bad habits and actually doing those is probably at the end of your day. Why? Because you started your day, or at the middle of your day, you had very high releasing ones, right? So different tasks have different level of reward. So again, some tasks will have a higher level, some tasks will have less level. It's the same thing with activities, right? Think of sports, think of music, think of WhatsApp. Every single thing you do releases some sort of form of dopamine. Then the fourth step is limit accessibility to quick dopamine/bad dopamine releasing activities. Make it hard for yourself. Put your phone away and cut distractions, right? Optimize your home screen on your phone. Take away all the apps on your home screen, right? You do not need it. You do not need those distractions. You want to be super cautious with where your time goes. So now, the last steps. So now you are not procrastinating as much anymore. Give yourself some time to adjust, right? All these people online say like, oh, do this and this and you'll fix it, whatever. This needs fucking time, because if your dopamine reward that you need every day is at a level 1000 right now, and you want to get it to a level 100 by cutting out certain things, replace them first and then decrease it, right? You have to decrease it over time. Otherwise, if you cut it out, like the dopamine detoxing that everyone says, it will cause this, right? That's why the dopamine detoxing sometimes does not work for some people, right? Because other people need different amount of dopamine, and again, it will cause a swing effect. It's the same thing as someone going into a center and they want to rehabilitate of something, right? They want to stop doing drugs. They need to ideally find something that they can replace that same amount of reward with, right? So in that center, you want them to let them to play sports, to do ice baths, to do certain things that have a very high release in dopamine that has a similar amount as that. So then they don't even crave the other previous thing anymore. You also want to make it super hard for them to even access it, right? If it's super easily accessible like your phone, then obviously you're going to be able to consume it pretty quickly. So now the only thing you lack to do your shit is a clear goal, something that actually excites you, right? Do not listen to other people online. Do not look at other people's lifestyles and be like, oh wow, that looks so cool. Experience something. Go to an event. Talk with a person. Do something, an experience, an in real life experience, and find your goal through there, right? Do what excites you. Do what moves you. Do what you would want to do for zero for the rest of your life. A clear plan / actions to actually get there. You would ideally want to get some mentors or experts or peers, or go in a community with people that are obviously at the same level as you. Or obviously mentors that you want to become like and who you want to become like, right? You want to get the same results, but you also want to become like that person. If you, let's say, get a mentor like Grant Cardone, which is amazing, nothing against the guy, but then you can expect to get that level type of mentoring from him, right? You will probably be doing things according to how he does things, who he is, how he wants to do things, etc., right? So time. Giving yourself time and room to get used to it. Again, don't be so fucking hard on yourself. Don't listen to all the other people that say you need to do 90 days of this, you need to do 30 days of this, and if you don't do it, then you're bad, right? Because at the end of the day, thoughts, beliefs, identity, right? What you think is what you start believing. What you start believing is what you become. And what you become is how you act. That's the process in which a person does stuff, right? And gets programmed. So in that sense, with, for example, time, give yourself some time to get used to it. Fuck what all the other gurus say. Stop listening to them. Stop consuming all the productivity bullshit content. Focus on fixing this foundation first. Consistency, not doing it too fast or too much, right? Start compounding it. Use the compound effect in this process. It is so freaking important. If you, let's say, you want to become a pro bodybuilder, you do not start with going to the gym 7 days a week. You start with once, then twice, then maybe 3 times, then increasing the intensity of your lifts, then you start adding in food, then you do this, right? You start stacking it. You need to give yourself some room for this. For me, I do not read 35 pages a day, and if I don't do it, I'm shit, I'm bad, whatever. It's the worst mindset to ever have. Because again, you're setting yourself up to fail, because not every single day is the same as the other day. Accept that. Because sometimes I, for example, work for 10 hours, then I have less energy to read. That's fucking logical, right? So I'm not hard on myself for that because I have done different things. It's all about finding that strategic balance for yourself during your day. So ideally what you would want to do is just read, stick to the actual habit, right? For me, it's important that I stay doing things, right? I stay reading, but if I read 1 page, if I read 2 sentences, that's okay with me. So next step, important note, how you start your day is the most crucial step/misstep for fucking up and going into bad habits. This is so crucial. How you start your day or how you end your day previously on the last evening is how you will fuck it up or not fuck it up. I'm not talking about, let's say you hit your toe and it hurts and now it's fucked. No, I'm talking about if you wake up, you look at your phone and you consume a whole bunch of different content. That's a very fucked up way to start your day. If let's say you start your day with eating sugar, very fucked up way. If you start your day with having fruit, sugar as well, high dopamine, right? I'm not saying it's bad, but you want to start thinking in the ways of task reward. You don't want to be thinking in a way like, oh, an apple is good for me, blah, blah, blah. Of course it's good for you, but you want to manage your dopamine fucking levels to get productive, to not procrastinate, right? Same as my parents, right? My parents, they always used to grab their phone and read the news before they actually went to bed. It's the worst thing that a human being could ever do. News causes high anxiety. News has all sorts of different mental effects as well. But again, you're overloading your brain with new information at the end of your day. Your brain wants to and needs to process this during your sleep. Your sleep quality decreases, and the morning after, you will need some sort of form of dopamine release too. So you grab your phone again, and now it becomes a habit, and now it becomes hard to obviously remove. But you don't want to remove it, you want to replace it, right? So do not open your phone in the morning or in the evening. Do not reply to all your emails in the morning or evening or your WhatsApp messages. Try to delay this as much as you can. Use the first hours of your day to just focus on a few things and cut out everything else. Cut out the distractions. Every single email you respond to, every single email you click on and open causes a dopamine release. If you have replied to 1,000 emails, you have such a big struggle to be productive straight afterwards. It's the same thing with WhatsApp messages, right? Or you spending 2 hours on TikTok. You will feel completely hazy and like your whole brain will be foggy. Why? Because of that amount of dopamine that got released. And now the next activity you do, your brain automatically wants more. That's how it works. It compounds. When you reply to things, reply and get yourself out of the inbox ASAP. So if I open my WhatsApp, I literally put a timer in which I can respond to certain WhatsApp messages. If I can't respond to everyone, I get out of it as soon as I can and I do it the next time. I only respond when I schedule it in my calendar. So I respond like 3 times a day. For the rest, I do not grab my phone. I do not do different things. I just do what I want to do. For example, I work a lot, right? Schedule your day. Plan tomorrow today. It's a super cool, important note. For me, it's super important to know exactly what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. And a fun fact is that Einstein said the same thing. A person spends 90% of his time or her time thinking about how they're going to do the task, how they're going to perform the task, and 10% actually doing it. This is super crucial too. If you schedule out a task tomorrow or the day after or whatever, then you need to make sure that you understand exactly what steps you will take and bulk schedule different parts of the task, right? Let's say you're creating content, then obviously first do content research, only focus on that, do as much as you can, then download all the content, then create all the content, then schedule all the content, right? You want to start bulking things and becoming more productive and effective. Productivity is nothing more than the amount of things you can do in a certain amount of time and how effective you can do it, right? Output per unit of time. That's productivity. So again, you want to schedule your day and plan tomorrow today, right? That's what works for me. All of these things in this video is all what works for me. Just take it away for yourself and see if you can apply it yourself too. I use Akiflow. You can also use Google Calendar for this. Just schedule out your day in work blocks, right? Just schedule it out as much as you can so you know exactly what you're flowing through. If you do not stick to things, who the fuck cares? Do not listen to music all day long. It's one of the biggest mistakes that people make. If I, for example, go to the train station, or if I go to the bus, or if I go to any place with where I have to be in public transport, I see everyone on their phone and I see everyone consuming music. What happens is dopamine release is like fucking booming all day long because every single song, every single beat releases a certain amount of dopamine. So if you listen to music 24/7, you will be fried. So a little trick for you is, do not listen to music for a week. You will start loving music. It is fucking crazy. The same song you can listen to for a week long will become fucking boring, and then let's say you don't do it for a week, it becomes so amazing. Why? Because we as humans need change. We can't do the same thing every single day, and also to do with dopamine. Then understand the principles of dopamine, right? I already explained this previously. Or no, sorry, I'm gonna actually explain this below. Then turn off all notifications, close all tabs, optimize your phone screen, remove apps from your home screen on your phone. You do not need this. Turn off your notifications. Please do this. Please. It will have so much release in terms of flow and oh man, if you don't do this, like, no wonder your attention gets drained. Another quick note, you always consume when you are bored. It's super, super important, right? Another trick is implement energy shifters. These are a list of quick, short activities you can do that you like and are easily doable and don't take long when you feel down or when you have a dip in energy. I have a list of energy shifters too. For example, I take a quick walk, I have a shower, I do a quick workout, I do a workout, right? I sprint, I get some sun, I listen to some music, I have a small amount of food, right? That's why it's also so important, if you have food, don't have a fucking buttload of food. Spread out your food throughout the day. The first meal I eat is just a little bit of fruit. That's it. So let's go in here. Instead of dopamine detoxing, simply replace the high dopamine moments slowly with activities that are good but release a similar amount of reward. If you dopamine detox or listen to all the gurus online with you have to do these things to be productive, etc., it will cause swings, especially for the average person, right? What I mean with swings is, let's say you cut everything out, you're on a peak, then obviously it will cause a dip. What happens in economics? There's always going to be a market correction. So there's always going to be an up, always a down, right? And you will start swinging. And then you will ask yourself, why am I not able to do these things? And why this and why that? You're super hard on yourself. I know, I'm too. But it's because of this. So you want to use the compound effect for this. Slowly increase the quantity, the length, the intensity, etc. over time for the activities you do. Go to the gym more often. Do this a little bit more often. Eat better food, right? Don't cut out everything at the same time. It will cause those swings effect. Give yourself some time. The risk with listening to other gurus is everyone needs a different amount of dopamine that gets released. I, for example, have a pretty high standard. So I know when I have a certain amount where I start feeling bored, that I can look back at my day and I can really try to identify, like, where did I get it from? How do I get it? Blah, 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 blah. Right? I have a list of different dopamine activities that I can do that are high, medium, and low in release, right? That I can do straight away to start getting some momentum, right? You want to keep moving. So these are a couple of activities that you have in terms of like dopamine, right? So for example, ice bath, sprinting, more regular workouts. These are the 3 activities I added in to replace bad food and movies. Then, when do you personally do most of your bad habits? This is a very big question I want you to ask yourself right now. When do you personally do most of your bad habits? Begin or end of your day? I can guarantee it's at the end of your day. Why? Because of everything I explained in this video about you stacking it up in compounding effect. These are a couple of other dopamine releasing activities. Again, for example, a funny entrepreneur thing is, let's say you have work on Monday, do not have sex on a Sunday evening, because again, it will cause that peak and you will have that dip in the morning. And then you will start craving more, right? So do it a little bit strategically. Then the last thing is that you need to do is, what does your day look like activity wise? Take all of these steps right here, right? It's very straightforward. So to kind of recap, audit your day / week, whatever you want to do. Choose which bad activities you want to replace. Optimize your day. Understand the principles of dopamine. Last steps, important notes, right? And another trick, energy shifters. And to go completely back, this is why you're performing bad habits. This is why you're procrastinating. And this is the system in which dopamine works. Task, reward, task, reward. That's the system. So I hope this video was insanely valuable. Please share it with anyone who can help with this as well, or who you think could benefit from this video too. Because at the end of the day, we all struggle with different shit, but understanding this stuff for me, after like years of experimentation, being super hard on myself and doubting everything I do, sorry. This was a very groundbreaking like insight that I had recently. So yeah, could be valuable to share. So I hope you enjoyed, and see you in the next video. Peace.